Lately, I've been trying to help my students to come up with ways to write their own songs. Because personally, I think that's the most fun stage to be at with music, is when you can make up your own stuff. So recently, I've been showing them some of the old songs that I wrote a long time ago, and just kind of explaining where the ideas came from and trying to relate it to some other famous songs that they already know. But here's one of them I forgot about that's pretty cool, so I thought I'd throw it up here. It goes like this. Basically what I'm doing, and usually how when I write songs I try to do something original each time, not to really be clever, but just to try to learn something new, because it gets kind of boring when you play guitar and you just, like, this song could have basically just been but instead, I mean, it would have been D minor and E at the beginning. But instead, what I did is I'm picking on D minor, and then this bass thing is kind of cool. And then this is E major. So the bass is what makes this, in my mind, sort of a fun thing to play and more interesting. So I'm going. And this note is G, but then I go into the E major, which has G sharp in it. It's sort of like bluesy, but it doesn't sound bluesy at all because of the context. It's like D minor. Like this can almost sound bluesy. So that's kind of like, I kind of blended a bluesy thing into this more Spanish sounding chord progression. So that's the first part. The picking pattern, like, when I wrote this song, this guy named Devendra Banhart was really famous. Or he wasn't really famous yet, but he came out with, like, his first couple albums were really interesting with the finger picking. So I think I was kind of stealing some of that style. So the finger picking was coming from, like, Devendra Banhart-ish stuff. But then it was just this, the other reason I really hated this shape, this D minor shape, so I forced myself to use this starting the song, and then I don't know how I ended up with E major. So that's the beginning. Then the next part uses an E minor chord. So that's E minor. You can play E minor like this. That's how most people know it. But again, whenever I write a song, I try to kind of force myself to use, even if I'm using common chords, just use something new just to learn something. So this is E minor. That's, you can play E minor like that with an extra G on top, but I'm just playing the top of it. So, and I'm really emphasizing the outer two notes. And then this is kind of weird. It shifts to right here, which this sort of sounds like a B7 chord with a G in it. So I don't know the exact name of that chord, but what I was thinking more about was just moving that shape down. Then I go to this mellow sounding chord, which is C major 7. So it's basically like E minor, B7, C major 7. So it could have sounded like this if I would have just strummed it. way cooler like this. Then I go to this sort of B minor 7 chord. That's B minor 7. And the next part has more standard chords. This is E minor. This is either a D with F sharp in the bass, or a F sharp minor 6 chord, and then G, and A minor 7. So this is the most normal part of the song. But what I'm doing on top is kind of adding melody notes. Then I go to C major 7. And like this is another case where I was so used to doing this, but I realized that this open string at B and E would still make C major 7. So it's kind of a cool way to use C major 7 that I'd never seen before when I was writing this. And I have this funky chord. I don't even know why I did this. This is a This is like a B7 chord with a sharp 5 in it. It's sort of like some chords I just consider them question mark chords because they sort of sound like question marks. Or like mysterious. And then this is kind of cool. This is, I want to do a build up based on this E minor chord. So all I'm doing is taking E minor, then I do a sus4. This is actually a power chord. And I'm hitting the bass note the whole time. And this next part, this is C major. C major 7. This is, I tried to use a new chord. I guess this would be, this is just a D chord. This is a D7. This is a really weird way to play a D7. And then a pretty standard ending. Just G, G over F sharp, E minor. But at the time I was really like, I was pretty comfortable with open chords. I was trying to get away from that and play more up the guitar. And then whenever I write songs or make stuff up, I like to have a lot of melody notes moving around, and usually that just happens if I just play around, like I might kind of know the shapes I want. And then after I play it long enough, I'll start picking. So I think the most interesting thing about the song is this bass part, this chord, and this is pretty cool. That's probably my favorite chord progression in the song. Anyways, I'll do the whole thing one more time since I just kind of broke it down. Whoops. So I do this 4 times. I think in the original it was like really long because my friend would make all this crazy arrangements. anyways, I was just thinking about some of these old songs and figured I'd post a couple. All right, bye.